Good evening, Ann Arbor. My name is Mike Raffone Gatian, and I am a local entertainer. You are watching Ann Arbor CTN's Community Television Network's Access Ann Arbor. Hello, everyone. Happy February 1st. It is a beautiful, cold night here, and I would like to talk to you a little bit about my favorite passions. The first thing I'd like to talk to you about tonight is my public address announcing. I am a local public address announcer for the Ann Arbor area. And, well, first of all, what is a PA announcer? Well, a PA, or public address announcer, is an announcer that actually announces sporting events, but he actually does it for the fans in the stands. He announces the player information to the fans in the stands, as well as players, coaches, and officials on the court, field, or ice. So, for example, let's say you are announcing basketball. You will be calling announcing the starting lineups, any baskets made, the fouls, subs, timeout reads, all those stuff for the fans in the stands, as well as the players, coaches, and officials on the court. So it comes with a big responsibility, but that's not to say it's not fun. It's really fun. And where do PA announcers sit? Well, PA announcers can sit different places. Generally, for football or baseball, they are in the press box, and they have like a 50-yard line view, or a view of the home plate for baseball, and this is a really good view for that. And for basketball, they will sit at the scorer's table that's at center court, where they have a good view of the basketball court. And for the ice hockey, they will either be in the press box, or they will be in the control box between the penalty boxes. And same thing applies there. They announce all game information to the fans and in the stands, as well as the officials, coaches, and players on the ice. So it's a really fun job for me to do. And there was one person that inspired me to do public address announcing. That was that was Carl Grapentine. Now, Carl Grapentine is actually the public address announcer, or PA announcer, of Michigan football. He also does the Michigan marching band, so that is really cool to think about, because you get to hear his voice every single Saturday for a football home game at Michigan Stadium, or also known as the Big House. So if you know this voice, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the Michigan Marching Band, take the field. If you hear that voice, you know that's Mr. Grapentine. So, when and where did I get started? Well, I got started at Pioneer High School, and Carl actually inspired me to start there, because when I heard his voice, I said, this is what I want to do when I am a little bit older. So, you know, when I thought of that dream, I kept that dream and said, okay, well, I know this is going to become reality someday. So I went to Pioneer High School in 2006, and I just, stopped by the athletic office one day and said, do you think I could do the games? They said, absolutely. And so I got to do freshman basketball at the time. Then I did JV basketball, and I did varsity, which I still do, freshman, JV, and varsity, as a fill-in. I'd like to shout out to Eve Claire, their athletic director, Maureen Isaac, their athletic secretary, who's also the Skyline boys and girls swimming coach. And also, I'd like to shout out to John Turk, who does a lot of our varsity sports. So hello to all of you guys. I hope you're watching out there. Now, I bet you're wondering how a standard XLR PA system works. Well, I have the answer for you right here. Right here, this is called the sports announcer's switch. Now, what this does is allows you to use the microphone, but to mute your voice, or broadcast your voice over to PA speakers without any like banging or popping sounds. So first of all, how do you set a microphone up to this little device right here? Well, I will show you. This is what you call an XLR, which is, I believe, extra long cable, but please don't quote me on that because I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, what you'll do is there are two ends. One end, this end is called the female end. The female end will go into the sports announcer's switch, for example. You take this and plug this into the mic input. This is your mic input. So once it's clicked in like this, you are going to take your microphone. You're going to take your male output, or excuse me, this is the female input, but this is, output. This is the male input. So you're going to put this into your microphone, because without this, you're not going to be able to broadcast anything. So now, as you can see, the mic is hooked up, and if you had another cord, the other cord will go into the output of the box. I have this all mixed up. And then the other part of the cord is going to go into your mixer or output device, whatever you have in your press box or a table that you announce from. So once all that's connected, you'll have a standard XLR PA setup, and then you can talk away. Now, how this works, this button works, is this button you press down to activate the PA system. So, for example, so once you press this, you are talking through the speakers. Once you let the button go, you're stopping the talking. You're muting the sound. So it's always muted until you press this button down. For example, let's say I do a quick intro. So let's use Pioneer basketball. So when I'm ready to speak, I'd say, press this down and say, "Good evening. Pioneer High School, its athletic department, and the men's basketball program are pleased to welcome the parents, coaches, students, teachers, alumni, and fans of the Saline Hornets to today's matchup against your Ann Arbor Pioneers." And then when you're done talking, you just let up and it would be muted until the next time you depress the button. So that is actually a really cool feature there, and so I hope you enjoyed how setting up a PA system like this works. So basically, trying to get this out. That's okay. Oh, here we go. So basically, there's a lot of sports that I do. I do currently the freshman and junior varsity basketball. I also do the public address announcing for junior varsity field hockey, freshman soccer, JV soccer, varsity again on all sports for all males and females sports as a fill-in. I've done varsity volleyball. I've done varsity volleyball. I've done junior varsity softball, JV, I'm sorry, varsity softball, JV softball. I've done freshman and JV baseball, did some varsity baseball back in 2008 under head coach Jerry Holly. He's actually now the former coach of Ann Arbor Pioneer. And so I've done a lot of sports for Pioneer. And if I could announce one thing that I have not done yet, it would be horse racing. Now, why do you ask that? I like to do, why do you ask, why do you want to do that? Well, I love horses. I've been around them. I've been to Mackinac Island. I have a little experience riding them. Strangely enough, I've never been to a horse racing event, but I've watched them on TV, especially, you know, the Kentucky Derby. And they had a lot of famous announcers there. Luke Kreikboss, the former PA track announcer there, track caller, really. They've had a lot of others, Trevor Denman, all that. Larry Kalmus, he actually was pretty good. They had a British announcer for a while. So one of the famous horse track callers that I love is his name was Tom Durkin. Now, Tom Durkin was a member of the New York Racing Association. He announced at several different tracks, Belmont, Aqueduct, Saratoga. And one of his funny calls that sticks out the most to me is dealing with a tongue twister horse name. It was Yaka Hika Mikadola. Now try saying that 10 times fast. So I love horse racing, and I really want to go someday and experience it for myself and possibly announce a thoroughbred race meet. So I would really love to do that someday. Why I love doing PA? Well, the reason I love doing the public address announcing is, besides hearing my own voice over the PA speakers, I love giving back to the team. You know, a team that may not have a PA announcer, I'm always reaching out to them and asking, hey, do you have a PA announcer in mind? If not, I would love to do it, please. Would you mind? And sometimes they get back to me right away and say, no thanks, but thanks for your interest. Or sometimes they'll just say, go for it, Mike. So I always have a lot of hopes that I get to do it, but sometimes I had to look at reality that it may not be possible at all. So, yeah. 2 embarrassing moments. Everyone makes mistakes. Well, I have 2 embarrassing moments I'd like to share with you. One is I was actually at a Pioneer High School women's basketball game, and I was just fiddling with my cell phone charger right underneath the scoring table. But what should be next to the scoring table and next to my phone but the surge protector to the scoreboards? So when I hit the power button, I accidentally turned off the entire scoreboard system. They went black, and you know, they had to call timeout to reset the scoreboards, and I felt a little embarrassed by that. But you know, I've learned one big lesson: not to mess with anything other than PA announcing. I'd like to do 2 impressions of a PA announcer. Here's a standard baseball PA announcer example of him doing a batter to the plate intro. I'll do a Tiger. Now batting for your Tigers, the catcher, number 41, Victor Martinez. And so that's how you would do it. You would just announce the batter, the number, and you know, what number position he's batting. He was batting 4th, 5th, 6th, etc. And here's one more final impression of a PA announcer. This is Terry Braverman, who is also the public address announcer for the Lions as well as Michigan State football. So I'll do an example of using Terry doing the Michigan State. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Spartan Stadium, home of your Michigan State University Spartans, or something like that. So I'd like to close with PA announcing by saying, if you want to become a PA announcer, please feel free to do so. Just have excitement, but be serious too, because you're announcing a game. Just stay hydrated, just relax. You're not like taking a test or anything. You're just announcing a game, but have knowledge of the game, get the right pronunciation and, stuff like that. You'll be fine, and if you just take it easy and if you follow your dreams, you can really obtain anything that you think. And that's a really cool thing to think about, because if you want to be a PA announcer, go out there and do it today. So that's all I have to say about public address announcing. Next, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about my mascots. I currently own my own mascot, which is a bulldog. It's a smiling bulldog. I actually got him on Amazon for a really good price. I played him the first time over at a speed skating tournament in Hazel Park. People seemed to love me, I was having a good time chasing the kids around, waving hello to the crowd. So it was really, really fun. And so I had a really, really good time with that, and not bad. It was a little bit awkward for me for the first time doing it, but after a while of doing it that day, I said, "Oh, this is a piece of cake." So that was all very fun. I played other mascots, including Yogi Bear, an eagle, Louie the Lightning Bug, Shooter from the Plymouth Whalers, a now defunct team. They're now the Flint Firebirds. Don't know who their mascot is now. I've also played a yellow dog for the Ann Arbor Half Marathon. The reason I love doing mascot playing is because I just absolutely love giving, like I said before, giving back to the team, and I love bringing kids a lot of joy. Love to see their faces when they see me. When I see them smile, it makes me feel really, really good inside to know that I made that all possible. Because to see a mascot like that is a very wonderful thing for the kids, especially. So, that's why I love playing mascots. And I play them for church dinners, races, social gatherings, stuff like that. And I really want to continue mascots. Next, I'd like to talk about my passion about PA announcing. What am I talking about? Piano and organ playing. I have played many pipe organs in church, especially Catholic churches. I am actually Catholic, so I played many organs. I played a few masses at St. John the Baptist in Ypsilanti, St. Thomas the Apostle, as well as St. Francis of Assisi. So I'd like to give two shout-outs, one to Jonathan Hasey, who is the current director of music over at St. Francis of Assisi, former director of St. John the Baptist of their music ministries. And I'd also like to give a shout-out to my wonderful former piano teacher, Linda Marshall, who was the former director of music for First Baptist Church of Ypsilanti. And it was really great. So there's many differences, but time-wise, I'm going to mention three between piano and organ. One difference is piano can only have one keyboard, but an organ can have several keyboards, or manuals as they're called. For piano, you can only get one sound, but for an organ, you are combining different sounds by pulling out different stops in the organ I mean, you can either make it sound, for the organ, you can make it either sound very romantic and, you know, melodic, or you can make it sound very deep and monstrous. So I played a lot of, like I said, pianos and pipe organs. What I like more are pipe organs as opposed to piano. But don't get me wrong, pianos are fun. But yeah, so I really want to continue my music. I play by ear, and I read and trying to read the right hand together, which I'm getting better at. But that's about it for my music talk. I'd like to end with a poem tonight. I also write poetry, and you know, I compose, and people like my poems, and this is it. It's called the Clock Guy. There once lived a man named Mr. McDox. He loved one thing, and that thing was clocks. He fixed them and sold them. He had his own shop. He treasured them always. It just wouldn't stop. He had watches, grandfathers, and cuckoos galore. Even had wall clocks in his very large store. They ticked, they'd talk, they'd buzz and they'd chime. If you were running late, he had the correct time. But one day he entered his shop and he cried. All of them stopped, their batteries had died. Soon they were back to their tick-tocking way. He was so happy, what more can I say? He built some himself with springs and with gears. Now he had been doing this for hundreds of years. Some clocks were quiet and others were loud. He was well known, which made him quite proud. He had many different colors from black to bright green, the prettiest clocks you have just ever seen. At work he'd say that the time had flown by. He didn't really know how, so don't ask him why. It started when fixing a clock for his niece. He did so, just that, piece by small piece. His niece was so happy, she screamed out in joy. She said, "Guys, come quickly and see this great boy. He'd fix yours and get them all ready for you." He was so busy, he started going, cuckoo. He decided to make some and sell them to fans. He was a genius. He had many great plans. Now, one of these plans was to open a store. So on his grand opening, had customers galore. Those clocks went like hotcakes. They'd fly off the shelf. Even gave tips to fix them yourself. So when a watch breaks, don't trash them and pout. If you want to repair it, just figure it out. The end. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Michael Gadigan. You are listening to Access Ann Arbor. And a special thanks to all the CTN staff, and especially Alicia Bodian and Melissa Bondi, and for all the CTN staff for helping me tonight. Thank you again for watching. My name is Mike G, and have a great night. And I love Ann Arbor, and if you come to Ann Arbor, you won't be disappointed. So come on down to this wonderful city. Good night, everyone.